am excited to be with you. I asked Bilal not to even do my introduction. You can read about it in the program, and we're just going to jump right into it if that's all right with you. I understand that people had a good first session. I know I did. Actually, she shared some things that apply to my workshop. So who knows, you might just get the benefit of both worlds. But just to make sure that you're in the right place, this is S.T.R.E.S.S, spelled backwards, is desserts, creating a healthier relationship with food. And I'm sure I don't have to tell you, but stress is just a societal epidemic at this point. You know, and I'm not talking about that innate, built-in stress where somebody startles you and you jump. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about stress that occurs in your life that leaves you feeling overworked, overwhelmed, and just completely stressed out. And for me, my background is in education. I spent 25 years as a teacher, 20 in the classroom, 5 as an administrator. Got my breast cancer diagnosis. My job was stressful. And I'm like, I can't fight cancer and fight these people on the job. So I came out of the job, and then I found out what I was supposed to be doing. And that's to be an inspirational speaker, promoting health and wellness as a lifestyle, because I don't want people to wait until they get a diagnosis to serve as their wake-up call to start taking care of their health. So I'm just passionate about this platform that I've been given, and I got it through a breast cancer diagnosis. So, you know, we don't always understand it, but it always works out. And so for me, when I talk about stress, or if I talk about health in general, I'm talking about more than just the physical. Health to me is the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, the financial, the occupational well-being. And if one is out of sync, there's a strong possibility that everything else is going to be out of sync as well. And so my passion for speaking to adults is because I'm concerned about our children. If adults don't know how to manage their stress, to me, that means that they can't teach their children to manage their stress, which means we have another generation of children where when you step on their foot, they pull out a gun and they take you out because they don't know how to manage their stress. So stress, when you experience it over a long period of time, can just leave your body running kind of on this extra mode, this emergency level. For some people that lasts for weeks, for some people that may last for months. And I know for my diagnosis, I have been taking care of myself since high school. So for me to get a diagnosis was very much a surprise. And then to get an advanced stage diagnosis of cancer at that was even more of a surprise. And I believe that stress was a contributing factor. And the presentation I went to this morning, she kind of backed that up. You know, I thought I was dealing with my stress well. I was really busy. But busyness is not necessarily effectively managing your stress. So we're going to talk about stress today. And what happens is when you're very stressed out, your immune system is not functioning the way that it should be. And that was a big problem that I had with cancer treatment. My white blood cell count just completely being too low. And stress, medical studies are linking stress to health conditions such as high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, asthma, depression, anxiety, and yes, cancer. And I mentioned a little earlier that it can kind of be a domino effect. So here's an example. You leave your job and it was a stressful day. You get home and as soon as you walk through the door, the cookie jar is calling your name. And so you may have an emotional response to stress because now you're stress eating. That's one scenario. Somebody else has a stressful day at work. They leave the office. They don't even go home. They make a beeline over to the mall to engage in some retail therapy. So that's a way that they're dealing with stress, but now it's impacting their finances. So they're spending money that they don't have from the beginning, and then when they realize what they did, now they're stressed out over again, and we just keep going around what I call this vicious cycle. So we're going to talk about stress, and I want to back up to, and they call me the queen of acronyms. So I came up with this acronym for stress. And the first S, and I've already told you that I was a teacher, so. The first S is for sugar. All right, S is for sugar. And, as you know, our American diet is high in sugar. The former presenter, she gave me a new term. She said it's the SAD diet. It's the standard American diet. I'm like, yeah, I need to use that. So our diets are typically high in sugar. That's because the foods are highly processed. We have a junk food diet, so we have to watch that sugar. The American Health Association, as well as the World Health Organization, they recommend that women have no more than 6 teaspoons of sugar a day, and men no more than 9 teaspoons of sugar a day. So 6 for women, 9 for men. The average American is consuming 22 teaspoons of sugar a day. So each day, this roughly amounts to 1/4 pound to 1/2 pound of sugar a day. In a year's time, that amounts to 150 to 170 pounds of sugar a year. 100 years ago, people were consuming 1 pound of sugar a year. So we've gone from 1 pound of sugar to 150 plus pounds of sugar. And when I speak about sugar, I'm talking about added sugar. And added sugar is considered one of the worst ingredients in our American diets. And it can be traced back to the 1980s. So they started doing something different in terms of our food back in the 80s. Sugar has no nutritional value. It just gives you empty calories. And so if you know anything about sugar, you may consume some and you feel really good, but then you crash and burn afterwards. I see a lot of heads nodding, okay. So if I say something and I'm walking down your street, you don't have to raise your hand, just blink your eyes. I know that you're with me there. All right, so what happens is when your blood sugar rises, that means your insulin level rises. And then the next step is that your fat storages increase. So that's telling us that there's a link between sugar and obesity. So sugar can also lead to problems like tooth decay in children as well as adults. And it also leads to chronic health conditions. Again, you're going to hear them again, cancer, not anxiety, cancer. Let me just look at the notes. Let me try to not even do it by memory because it's gone. Where am I? All right. Cancer, diabetes, dementia, heart disease, liver disease, and obesity. In my research, what I found to be very interesting is that sugar impacts the liver much the same way that alcohol impacts the liver. In terms of obesity, honestly, we're not even talking about obesity anymore. Obesity is now a global epidemic, and the new word is globesity. So foreign countries like Brazil, China, India, and Mexico, who at one point had an issue with starvation, are now at the opposite end of the spectrum. They're now having a problem with obesity. The problem is so big in Mexico that there are places that you can go to get bariatric surgery at no charge because it's such a problem. And we're going to talk about why it's a big problem in Mexico in a few minutes. Sugar also contributes to inflammation. Has anybody been reading more about inflammation? So what I found in my research over the last few years is we hear about little things here and there, but nobody's connecting the dots. And so I'm doing research and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, people need to know about this. So what happens when you consume something, a product filled with sugar, is that sugar creates heat and swelling in your body. So as the inflammation occurs, your skin begins to stretch. And as the inflammation decreases, the skin begins to sag. So if this continues to continue, with expanding skin and contracting skin, now we got sagging skin. And I don't know about you, but as a woman, that's stressful. So again, we're on this cycle where we're going around and round and round, and we've got to get off of it. So S in terms of stress has to do with sugar. The T in stress is all about thirst. And we're going to do a little exercise. So I'm going to ask you to take one and pass it back. Don't flip it over. Let's see who. I think we're good, Bilal. Take one. Don't flip it over. Let's see. Everybody have a pen? Does anybody need something with which to write? You need something? Oh, wait a minute. I may have to take them out. Okay. Does everybody have one? Almost? Okay. Bilal, I'll give you the extra one. Everybody have one?
I got it.
Okay, he's going to bring them around. Well, I'll just set some more up here in case we have some people come in. So we are getting ready to do the sugar shot kit. Has anybody ever done the sugar shot kit before? Wonderful, new blood, yay. Okay, would you please flip your papers over? So, just the teacher and me. What's on your paper are these commonly consumed beverages. So we have Coke, cranberry juice, Diet Coke, Frappuccino, Gatorade, mixed berry juice, orange juice, Pepsi, Snapple, and water. I would like you to rate these products based on sugar content. So whichever product you believe has the most amount of sugar, please give that a number 1. Whichever product you believe has the second amount of sugar, you're going to give that a number 2. And by the time you get to 10, that'll be the product that you believe has the least amount of sugar. There is no sharing of answers. Need to separate the two of you. Give you a couple minutes to do this, and then we're going to talk about it. So while people are finishing up, I had to tell Kristen, she did it again this year. So I was a presenter for her last year, and she put me right before lunch. So I know that I'm what stands between you and your meal. So we started late, I think everybody knows that, so we'll be done by 1 o'clock, but you have a nice break at 1 o'clock, so don't worry about there not being a box lunch for you. Hopefully you got a chance to go to the healthy snack and get a kind bar. So, but you know, we hear some stomachs growling. We know what. Anybody else need more time? No? Wonderful. Let's get started. All right. Which product do you think contains the most amount of sugar? Somebody just holler it out. What you got?
Gatorade.
The answer is Gatorade. Okay. I heard a few people say it, got it right. So for people who got it right, why did you choose the Gatorade first?
One is the amount that you're drinking.
Okay.
Plus the also the sugars. They consider that part of electrolytes.
Okay.
So they put that in there also for energy.
Okay. Anybody else for the same reason?
I agree.
Okay. This bottle of Gatorade contains 13 1/4 teaspoons of sugar.
Oh my goodness.
Very rarely does somebody give me the right answer. And normally when they give me the right answer, it's for the wrong reason. So it has nothing to do with the size of the bottle. People have said to me, oh, it's the biggest bottle, that's why I picked it. Somebody said to me, it's the one in the middle, that's why I picked it. The reason that this one has the most amount of sugar is found on the nutritional label. This container of Gatorade is 2.5 servings, which means you have to take all of if you consume the whole bottle, you have to take all of the nutritional information, double it, and then half it again. So that's why it has the most amount of sugar in it. And I'm going to tell you something about Gatorade a little later. Here's your disclaimer. If you get one wrong, it's going to knock everything else out of whack. So don't get, this is not the SATs. So if you get something wrong, just kind of look at what's left. All right, so what do you have for number 2?
Well, that works.
I heard Pepsi. Okay, the answer, I got it right, is the orange juice. The orange juice has 12 grams of sugar in it. And the reason is again found on the nutrition label. This bottle of orange juice is 2 servings. So that's why it's important not to get hung up on the shape of the bottle, because you would automatically assume, well, this is a smaller bottle, it must be 1 serving. This is actually 2 servings, this is actually 2.5 servings. So don't get don't get caught up with the shape of the bottle. Yes, ma'am.
So when you say grams, can you tell me, 'cause I'm older, teaspoons, is that the?
1 gram is 4 teaspoons. 1 gram is 4, that's the ratio. All right, who's got number 3? Somebody said Coke, Frappuccino. The answer, Snapple. Snapple has 11.5 teaspoons of sugar in it. 11.5 teaspoons of sugar in it. Number 4, Diet Coke. Anybody else? The answer is Pepsi. This bottle of Pepsi has 10.25 teaspoons of sugar in it. So again, remember that the recommendation is 6 teaspoons for women, 9 for men. So you're already over with this bottle of Pepsi. So I need to talk a little bit about the Pepsi. The hardest part for me in preparing this sugar shot kit is that the only thing up here that I drink is water. So as I saw people drinking a can of Coke or some Gatorade, may I have your bottle? May I have your bottle? So I found this bottle of water, a bottle of Pepsi, and rinsed it out. All right, again, if this is you, don't raise your hand, don't put your head down, just blink. If you are a Pepsi drinker, or you know of people who are Pepsi drinkers, they are not drinking little bottles of Pepsi like this. They're not drinking little bottles of Pepsi like this. They're drinking that big thing of Pepsi, and if the barbecue is good enough, they're downing 2 or 3 of them, right? So if I had that big thing of Pepsi, Pepsi would have had more sugar in it than the Gatorade. So the reason why Pepsi is coming in number 4 is based on this bottle. That's all. But you know Pepsi drinkers. You might be one of them. What you got for number 5? So let's look at what's left. We have water, mixed berry juice, Frappuccino, Diet Coke, cranberry juice, and regular Coke. Frappuccino. Anybody else? Answer is Coke. Coke has 9.75 teaspoons of sugar in it. Number 6. We're beyond that halfway point. Number 6. Diet Coke. Anything else?
Cranberry juice.
It is the cranberry juice. It has 8.5 teaspoons of sugar in it. Cranberry juice. And this is a cranberry juice cocktail. So it's only 27% juice.
Right.
Number 7.
Frappuccino.
Anybody else? It's the Frappuccino. Yeah, it's the Crappuccino. I'm sorry, it's the Frappuccino. 7.75 teaspoons of sugar. How about number 8?
Mixed berry.
Mixed berry. It has 5.25 teaspoons of sugar in it. I spent most of my time teaching 2nd grade. I love 2nd graders. 1st graders are a little weepy. You know, they're still crying a little bit. Second graders know something, and they realize that they need you so that they can know some more things. They hug you, they bring you apples. Third graders are like, I got this. Why did you even come to work today? So I've seen parents thinking that they're doing something wonderful when they put 2 or 3 of these in their child's lunchbox. And then we're wondering why children are bouncing off the wall. It has to do with what we're putting in our bodies. I saw second grade parents thinking that they were doing something marvelous with Lunchables. Lunchables are awful. The sodium amount in Lunchables is off the charts. But we don't know because we're not reading the labels. And we also need to understand that these food companies, these soda and soft drink companies, they are businesses. They are in business to make money. So for example, lean cuisine. You trying to lose some weight? They named it that for a reason. They said lean, I'm trying to lose weight, and then they said cuisine, as opposed to TV dinner. So now I'm thinking I'm getting something fancy, right? But when you flip that over, the sodium amounts are off the charts. So we have to do our own research, and we need to know what these companies know, but they're not telling us directly. So I'll tell you something about that in a minute. Number 9, what do you have? We've got 2 left. Water and Diet Coke. Diet Coke. How much sugar in Diet Coke? There is no sugar in Diet Coke. The problem with Diet Coke is that it's Diet Coke. If you can put a rusty nail in Diet Coke and have the rust come off, what do you think it's doing to our internal organs? So the problem with Diet Coke is that it's a Diet Coke. And people think they're doing something better because they're consuming a diet soft drink. You're not. You're not. And of course, did everybody get number 10 right?
Yeah.
It's water.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to talk about water. I want to talk about the Gatorade for a minute, and I'm going to be as time conscious as I possibly can. Gatorade is not only being consumed by athletes, Gatorade is now replacing soda with children and young adults, teenagers, because they're thinking, oh good, I'm not dealing with soda, Gatorade is better for me. Studies are showing that sugar stimulates the same part of the brain as commonly abused drugs like cocaine. So now we have children who have moved from soda to Gatorade, and then we're questioning their behavior. It's just like they're addicted to cocaine. And if any of you have consumed large amounts of sugar and have tried to cut back, you go through withdrawal because it's that addictive, not only mentally, but to your body. About the water, which is where the thirst comes in, and this is just a good segue to move from sugar to thirst, because when we talk about sugar, most people aren't giving consideration to liquid sugar. And as you can see, there's a whole lot of added sugar in some of the liquids that we are consuming. So our bodies are primarily water. So we need to be drinking water. If you were here this morning and heard Patty Jackson, she said she couldn't remember the last time she had water. Normally we hear that we should be consuming 8 8-ounce glasses of water. That is incorrect. You should be consuming half of your body weight in water. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you should be drinking 100 ounces of water a day at a minimum. My disclaimer, if that is not you, when you leave this conference this afternoon, please do not go home and just start jugging water. You have to slowly introduce that into your system, but it can be done. It can be done. In the meantime, while you're in that training your body for that process, just make sure you know where every bathroom is. But your body will adjust itself. I've done a number of marathons and, had to drink a large amount of water, and I did it twice. My coaches weren't happy, but it was about time for me. I was able to do a 26.2 marathon and not go to the bathroom. And that's because I wasn't hydrated like I should be. But to me, a stop at the John was losing time. And I didn't want to lose any time. So I'm like, I'll deal with it afterwards. So you can consume half of your body weight in water. You just need to put yourself on a system. I do most of my water consumption in the car. So I work from home, and then I've been a stay-at-home mom, and just going to a refrigerator to get water just made no sense to me at all. But if I'm in the car, it's just me in the car, and my objective is from point A to point B, I'm consuming 16 ounces of water. From point B back to point A, another 16 ounces of water. So I do 96 ounces of water easily. So I drink water, and I drink a little bit of almond milk. And that's at night. And that's about it for me. And the prior presenter mentioned something about she mentioned the link between sugar and chronic health conditions like cancer. She also made a connection between dairy products and chronic health conditions such as cancer. So if you get a chance to go into any more workshops, if you're interested, it's definitely something that we need to know about, and we need to share the information. So if you want to deal with your thirst better, avoid sports drinks, avoid the soft drinks, avoid fruits that are canned in syrups, and we need to watch our desserts and grain-based baked goods as well. And as I talked about the companies, they may not always put sugar on the label, but if you see words that end in OSE, fructose, sucrose, dextrose, those are all words that mean sugar. All right, so part of the problem with going before lunch is that when I go downstairs and I go through the lunchroom, either some people are hiding because they picked up the Pepsi and the Coke, or other people are really happy to show me their salad. So, and my thing is, if you're a person who consumes 10 cans of Coke a day, in 2 weeks, if you're down to 9 cans, I'm happy about that. Just like Kristen said at the opening, just do something to make a change in the right direction. That's all I'm looking for. All right, so we've gone from thirst to R, which is relaxation. All right, relaxation. And I'm going to come back to relaxation in the end, but relaxation techniques can be helpful when you're dealing with stress, but you have to have those relaxation techniques in place ahead of time. Because sometimes when we're eating, it's not because we're hungry. It's because we need to crunch or we need something salty. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm dealing with a stressful situation and I need to crunch something, and I don't have the baby carrots in my refrigerator, you know that I am not going to go to the store and go buy some baby carrots just to deal with the stress. So that's what I mean. Our stress techniques need to be in place ahead of time. What most people will do is go ahead and put their hand in the cookie jar, eat the cookie, and then say, you know what, when I go to the gym tomorrow, I'll just work out double time. That's what we'll say. So we need to be prepared. So if you're a person that needs to crunch, you need to have the carrot sticks, the celery sticks. You need to have that in place ahead of time. There's some other things that you can do for relaxation. They can include meditation, mindfulness, deep breathing, taking a walk. And I really enjoy laughter therapy. That's one of my favorite ways to combat stress. So we are going to do a relaxation technique. However, I can't do it right now because I'm not finished and you all might fall asleep. So I want to save that for the end of the presentation. But sometimes we've just heard about things like mindfulness and meditation and we've never had a chance to experience it. So I'd like to give you a quick experience of a guided meditation, but you understand why I have to do it at the end. So E is for exercise. In today's society, it is so easy just to be sedentary. Now, I'm not saying that, you have to become a gym rat and spend a whole lot of money. Instead of getting comfortable on the couch, I would just like to see you get moving. And it's really easy. Just pick some exercises that you enjoy, because if you really enjoy it, that will increase the likelihood that you'll continue for the long run. And your choices are many. They range from Zumba to swimming to cycling. And I'll tell you a secret. You can even take the steps instead of the elevator. Little things that you can do to get moving. But of course, before you do anything, make sure that you are checking with your physician to make sure it is okay to start. Whether it's a new exercise, whether you want to change something in your diet, because I don't know what type of medications you may be on. So there's some things that you should not be eating on certain medications. So please definitely check with your physician. The first S is for sleep. As adults, we think sleep is just really for babies and young children. So far from being true. Adults need to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. Put yourself on a schedule so that you are waking up at the same time. I have an internal clock. I set the alarm just in case some fluke happens, but I'm up. It doesn't make a difference if it's the weekend or I'm on vacation. I'm up at like 5 o'clock. I'm just up. But put yourself on a schedule. Some other things to help you improve your sleep. Your sleep, when you sleep, there are hormones that are at work that impact your hunger cues. So you need to get enough sleep every night. You also need to stop eating about 2.5 to 3 hours before you get ready to go to bed. Because if you eat and then go to bed, that can have a negative impact on your body throughout the night. The other thing is, we need to be shutting down our devices long before you get ready to go to bed. Because even though you switched it to off, those images are still moving in your head. So we need to power down before you go to bed. My children are 24 and 26. And when they say, Mom, I called you and you didn't answer the phone, I said, well, I turned the cell phone off. You turned the cell phone off? It's like, yes. I don't want to be that attached to my device. I have a landline. If you have an emergency, call me on the landline. So we need to do a better job of getting a proper amount of sleep. And the last S is for start now. Start now. I have a quote from, let me get there. I have a quote from Johann which says, what is not started today is not finished tomorrow. Wherever you are in your health and wellness journey, I understand you may have a lot of changes to make. Pick one thing and then make that very first step. Because that's the first step will take you on the journey. If you stand stationary, you never get to the finish line. So you need to get the process started. And I understand that time is a commodity. We never feel like we have enough time. However, we create or we make time for the things that we think are important, such as work obligations or family commitments. But optimal health is not going to happen by osmosis. You have to give it the time and the attention that it needs. And time is unlike many cell phone service providers. It allows for no rollover minutes. Time is unlike many timeshare companies. You can't bank it for later use. Unlike tax time, there are no extensions. Unlike game time at the ballpark, there are no extra innings. When time is gone, it's simply gone. So the bad news is that time really does fly. The good news is that you are the pilot. So I hope that I have said something today to inspire you to do something today that your future will thank you for tomorrow. So yes, stress spelled backwards. Oh, Well, you know, the ED. Stress spelled backwards is dessert. I just got that. But that's enough. Pick an area and make a decision to change something. You know, so if you see me here next year and you say, you know what, Nicolle, I saw your presentation and I was one of those people consuming 8 cans of Coke, I'm down to 3. That's progress. That's progress. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I know that's why the Healthier You Conference exists, to inspire people to make change, So, are you ready for your relaxation exercise? Okay. I'm going to ask you to put your pens down. We got just enough time to do this. Can we shut the lights off? Hold on to your pocketbooks.
Somebody ran up with it already.
Yeah, that's good. All right. Get comfortable in your chair and close your eyes. Use your imagination now. Imagine that you are standing at the top of a large, winding stairway. See the steps in front of you. See the handrail. You are alone, standing in front of the stairway. It's your private stairway, and you know it so well. You feel comfortable there. Count slowly backward from 10 to 0. Silently say each number as you breathe out. As you count, imagine you are stepping down the stairway very slowly. Imagine yourself walking slowly down the stairway. You move yourself down the steps deeper and deeper. With each count, you will relax more deeply as you go deeper and deeper into a state of profound relaxation. When you reach 0, imagine you have reached the bottom of the stairway. You then find you are in a place of perfect calm. 10, take your first step. 9, relaxing more deeply. 8, deeper and deeper relaxation. 7, gently walking down the stairs. 6, feel more and more relaxed. 5, deeper and deeper. 4, serene and calm. 3, very relaxed. 2, deeper and deeper. 1, very, very profoundly relaxed. 0, gently step off the bottom of the step and into a perfectly relaxed and calm peace. Now drift still deeper with each breath, deeper and deeper. Feel that deeper relaxation all over and continue relaxing. Now, relaxing deeper and deeper, you should feel an emotional calm, tranquil and serene feelings, feelings of safe security and a calm peace. Now count from 1 to 3. Silently say each number as you take a deep breath. When you reach 3, open your eyes. You will be relaxed and alert. When you open your eyes, you will find yourself back in the place where you started your relaxation. Things will seem slower and more calm, and you will be more relaxed and peaceful. You may open your eyes when you're ready. Okay, so the people with their eyes closed, stop snoring. How many people have ever participated in any type of meditation before? Okay.
This morning.
Oh, okay. So, disclaimer about meditation. Don't do it while you're driving. This is something that you can do while you are in a stationary place. So, what I would like to do, Bilal, if you could put the lights on for me. What I would like to do now is everyone has an evaluation, but when I go to do a presentation, I always love to give gifts. So I have something for everyone, but I also have 2 special gift bags, so I know I'm out of the sight of the camera. If you would like to be on my mailing list, if you could take one and pass it back. If you could just fill this out, and that'll put you in the drawing for these 2 gift bags. I have business cards if anyone would like to reach out to me. So I am an inspirational speaker promoting health and wellness as a lifestyle, and my company is called Inspired. And my objective is to have my audiences inspired to make change. So I'm happy to speak with you afterwards. I have a little stress meditation kit to give to everyone. And I also have some coloring pages. I don't know if you're keeping up with what's going on, but adult coloring books are just hot now. So I have a couple of pages for you. And Bilal, if you can take that purple bag, and that way if you would like to be on my mailing list and get my monthly newsletter, you can just put your information inside that bag and we'll draw 2 names. While people are filling out their evaluations and filling out their paperwork to be in the drawing, does anybody have any questions? Anything you'd like to share about some new information? We can do that while we are collecting things. Yes?
I'm going to be getting a colonoscopy.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the drinks they had was Gatorade.
For a colonoscopy? Normally when you have a colonoscopy, they give you something that flushes out your system.
That, but they tell you Gatorade before.
Oh, okay. So for the Gatorade, what I would suggest you do, which was what my coaches suggested to me as athletes, we diluted it half and half.
Oh, okay.
So if you're going to do 8 ounces of Gatorade, mix it with 8 ounces of water. So you still get the electrolytes, you get the benefit of the water, and you separate how much sugar that you're getting in one setting. So, all right. Does anybody else want to put their name in the running for the drawing?
I did.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
You did a great job.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. So I'm an ambassador for the Cancer Treatment Centers of America. I speak to women all across the country. And a couple weeks ago, I did my first cancer conference for women living with all types of cancer. How they can improve the quality of their health, reduce their risk of recurrence in ways that don't require prescription medication. So we talked about the benefits of mindfulness, meditation, stress management, exercise, and nutrition. And the Cancer Treatment Centers was kind enough to give me a product, and I had some left over, so I want to share that with you. So Bilal, I'll take that bag, and if you could pass out. Now the purple are to my gentleman, And the coloring thing. Can I get my little buddy in the back? Mom, can we borrow him? Can you pick out 2 names? How are you?
Good.
What's your name?
Zolly.
Say it again.
Zolly.
Zolly, I'm Miss Nicolle. Can you reach in here? Turn this way so we can get you on the camera. Reach in here and pull out a name. Just one. Okay, and pull out another one for me. Thank you so much. All right, let's give him a round of applause. And the first name is Laura Thompson. I looked at you, Miss Audrey. Her last name is Thompson, too. And the second name is Tierra West. So you ladies can come up front, and you can pick whichever bag you would like. And if you'd like to come up and look at the sugar content or anything like that, oh, you know what? In the bags, okay, go ahead. You all have bags inside of yours. The little bags that he just passed out,
Oh,
you already
okay.
have one. And you
Okay,
have something
give
extra
that.
in yours, yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
I started doing this. I used to be the program director for the Police Athletic League of Wilmington in Delaware. And I knew that my population of boys, roughly between 8 to 18, could care less about what I thought about the vending machines. But my thought is, if I could give them a visual, that maybe they would think differently. I've had young boys come up and, oh, which one do you like? Oh, I like the Gatorade. And I would say to them, would you go get a spoon and just start eating this sugar? And they would say no. So I'm hoping that something will kind of click with them. If we don't do something quickly, we're talking about obesity rates being almost at 45 to 50% in the next 14 years by 2030. So we are very much dealing with the health crisis. So we've got to do some things differently, and we've got to pass that information on to other generations. So thank you so much for your attention and your time. Enjoy the rest of your conference.
Thank you.